And welcome to LA Press Box, everybody. We're glad you're with us as we get set for the series finale between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the Chicago Cubs from historic Wrigley Field. Whether you're blacked out, away from a television, listening while you're on the road, or maybe at work, because we're in working hours on a weekday, guys. But just maybe simply looking for a deeper way to follow Dodgers baseball or Cubs baseball, you're all welcome at LA Press Box. We are your live game companion. Throughout today's broadcast, our live command center, which you will always see in the background or in the corner, will keep you updated with official lineups, statistics, matchups, and so forth. Put a lot of work into that so that you can see that in real time. And actually, sometimes when you pay attention during the live feed for the game itself, when baseball is being played, not in between innings, you can see a little bit, a few seconds ahead, what's going to happen before it even appears on the television. But at this point, Chicago has already secured the series after winning the first two games, including last night's 5-1 victory. The Dodgers now have lost 5 straight games, and this is their longest losing streak of the season. Needless to say, they're trying to get the ship back on track and avoid their second consecutive sweep. You go back to their last series at home against the Boston Red Sox. Over the last 10 games, the Dodgers are 3-7 and have lost, as we said, 5 consecutive games. They do remain in first place in the National League West, and they are 9 games ahead of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks and the Padres are battling it out for second place currently. The Dodgers have the second best overall record in the major leagues. But needless to say, this is clearly their most difficult stretch of the season, even though yesterday they did have the unveiling, if you will, the premiere of their newest acquired starting pitcher. But as far as recent trends go, they've really struggled offensively to get runners on base and, more importantly, move them along as well as score them when those runners are on second and third and in scoring positions. They've also fallen behind early. Although the first game of this series, they shot out literally the first 3 batters to a 3-0 lead. Very early in the first, let's say third of games, typically they fall behind, and they're during this recent 10-game stretch trying to consistently claw their way back, and that's not really a recipe for winning baseball. But at this point, it's no longer just a brief stumble. The Dodgers need a complete game, quality starting pitching, timely offense that brings home runs, and a clean defensive performance to stop this slide. The Chicago Cubs, on the other hand, are 6-4 in their last 10 games, but they have one of the best records in baseball. And looking over the last month in particular, they're a hot team. They are very difficult to contend with in all phases. They probably have what is the best defense in all of baseball. And recently, their starting pitchers have really been good, and their hitters are very difficult. They're difficult to get out, and they're very disciplined. Let's go ahead and take a look at the command center for today. As you can see at the top, the Dodgers have a record of 69-45. And as we said before, they're first in the National League West. In the top right corner, you can see that the Chicago Cubs are 65-49, and they're second in the NL Central. On the left hand of your screen, we're going to look at the defensive Dodger matchup versus the Chicago Cubs offense. And Eric Lauer gets the start today. He is 6-5 with an ERA of 4.50 and a whip of 1.19. He's got 56 strikeouts on the year, along with 29 walks. He has given up 20 home runs. And even Tarek Skubal yesterday, although he had a really good outing, it was susceptible to giving up the long ball. So you hope that trend does not continue for the Dodgers starting pitching. This has really been the biggest weakness of their recent stretch. The starting pitchers give up home runs, and that is very, very difficult if you're doing that on a consistent basis and at the same time you're getting behind on the scoreboard. Behind Lauer, you can see the defense for today. Fiducia is the catcher. The Dodgers, right before the trade deadline, traded for a couple of catchers because they've been thin due to injury. Freddie Freeman will be at first base. Miguel Rojas gets the start in second base. Feel-good veteran who's always ready for whatever Dave Roberts asks him to do. Mookie Betts at shortstop. Max Muncy starts again at third base. And Teoscar Hernandez starts the game on the bench. He's actually done pretty well lately. But it's smart for Dave Roberts to give Tommy Edman more work in left field today and give Teo a little bit of a rest. Andy Pages once again in center and Kyle Tucker in right field. The only person that was able to help the Dodgers get on the scoreboard yesterday, thanks to his solo home run. What that defense is facing is one of the toughest batting lineups in all of baseball. As you can see just below that on the left hand of your screen, they rank in the top 10 in just about every offensive category. And one of their leaders is the person who leads off the lineup. That's Pete Crow Armstrong. As you can see there, he's got an average of 284. And each of those gold boxes shows whenever a player ranks in the top 20 in the league. Needless to say, that makes that player elite. And so Pete Crow Armstrong is a very difficult person to always start off when you're a starting pitcher. He's followed by Suzuki, who's also in the top 20 when it comes to OBP at 368. Then batting third is Alex Bregman and playing third. In the cleanup spot is Carson Kelly, your catcher. Number 5 spot is Michael Bush playing first base, followed by Nico Horner at second, Ian Happ at left field, Dansby Swanson, who hit a home run yesterday, playing shortstop, and Tyrone Taylor brings up the rear in the 9th spot in center field. And so many of those players had some great plays over the last 2 games against the Dodgers. Acrobatic plays, reaching whatever ball is hit near them, and then being able to record the out. So facing that lineup, Lauer's definitely going to have his hands full. He has to get ahead with first pitch strikes. The way that Tarek Skubal reminded us is so important and showed yesterday. Over the course of 6 innings, Skubal did give up 4 hits, 1 being a home run, but also had 6 strikeouts. So a very strong start. And the Dodgers are hoping that they can get that from him on a consistent basis and that it also rub off on the rest of the starting staff. We'll see how it works with Lauer today. As far as the Cubs, their defensive lineup will begin with their starting pitcher, Shota Imanaga. He has a record of 7-9, ranking 60th in the majors, ERA of 3.67, whip of 1.07, 119 Ks on the season, and only 29 walks. That's a very good ratio. He has given up 24 home runs, so this is something I think hopefully the Dodgers can take advantage of. And you'd love to see Shohei Ohtani do that right from the very beginning with a leadoff home run, which is why, of course, whenever the Dodgers are on the road, we want to get strapped in and ready to go from the very first pitch, since he is your leadoff hitter. We'll get to that lineup in a second, but once again, you have a reminder, and this is updated every time we have our broadcast, that with regards to the Dodgers offense, they are just about top 5 in every offensive category. However, that's over the course of the entire season, and they have been underperforming when you compare that with their season-long average. Shohei now, leading off as the DH, has an average of 293, OBP 397, and pretty much elite all across the board. His 67 RBI is also very solid production. In the second spot is Andy Pages in center field. Then Freddie Freeman in his usual third position at first. Tommy Edman will bat the cleanup today, and he is now below 300 for the first time this season in terms of his batting average. Kyle Tucker moves up a spot to the 5th position as he has been much better, more confident, more productive lately. And Mookie Betts has not, so they swap, and Mookie goes down to the 6th spot. Max Muncy in the 7th spot, always lurking with some power there, followed by Miguel Rojas at second base, and Hunter Fiducia, the catcher, getting the start. The Dodgers, as we said, have recently, just before the trade deadline, acquired Fiducia and Rortvedt, who got the start last night. And so, of course, one thing you commonly do if you've got more than one catcher that can do an adequate job is to give one rest when you have games so close back to back. So that's a look at how things shape up for today. Needless to say, the Dodgers have to perform better in pretty much every category. Lauer's got to get off to a strong start, throwing strikes and not letting people get on base easily. The defense has got to be solid behind him. We definitely have the players to do that. And we also have to do a good job batting consistently and moving runners along and moving them home. So Hopefully, the Dodgers can start to right the ship today before they leave Chicago. And of course, they want to avoid a second straight sweep. At this point, as you can see, as a result of the timer, we are less than 2 minutes away from the first pitch. And so this is always the time for you to go ahead and get your favorite drink, maybe a snack, and settle in. One of the things I do want to point out is that we do have game odds for those people that are interested at the top, and that comes from DraftKings. All right, Shohei Ohtani set to lead off the Dodgers lineup. And he's set to face Shota Imanaga. As always, you try to look and see if Shohei's going to stay disciplined when he takes his swings rather than taking his right foot and aiming it towards first base, opening his hips, and pulling his head. First pitch on the way, and this game is underway as that pitch is high and a little inside, and Shohei kind of limbos backwards and then just grins at the starting pitcher, saying, "Hey man, what was that about?" And the early count is 1-0. Next pitch on the way, and catches the strike zone. Now the count's 1-1. As we said in the pregame, Ohtani's batting .293 and has 24 home runs to lead the Dodgers at this point. Swings and misses at that one. Counts 1-2. You can see down here, all of the gold is where he ranks in the top 20 in the league, making him, needless to say, elite. And swings at that one, which was well placed in the lower outside corner of the strike zone, fouled off to the right, and the count remains. And that one just misses and evens the count at 2-2. Ohtani and Max Muncy, who's also in the lineup in the 7th spot, have been kind of going back and forth all season long for the home run lead amongst the Dodgers. As that one is also a near miss. And now the count's full. And this one's left high. Ohtani makes big contact. It's traveling deep over the right field fence. There was no doubt about that. And like I said, you always have to be in your seat and be ready for Shohei Ohtani. His 25th home run of the season. And that was out by, about 3 rows, but it's a high fence in right field. And that's just the start that the Dodgers wanted. That is his 29th leadoff home run, second all-time in Dodgers history. It had an exit velocity of over 110 miles an hour. And that was thrown by Imanaga in the perfect spot for Ohtani. Right in the middle, up, but also a strike. And he turned on that and absolutely blistered it. So that brings up Andy Pages, who swings at this one and flies it to center field. But that's not going to be trouble for Tyrone Taylor. And 1 away. What's interesting seems to be some wind in the Windy City, and that might impact the flight of the ball. Only time will tell. Although most people believe, mistakenly, that because of the wind that comes off of the lake, that's why Chicago's called the Windy City, and they're not. There's a different history behind that, as Freddie Freeman comes up with a 14-game hit streak. Fouls the first pitch off. Next pitch on the way. He lines this one deep. Is this going to be another home run? It's in left center, and the center field does a small hop. Center fielder, rather, small hop into the fence, but makes the catch for the second out. Almost, not quite back-to-back home runs, but home runs in close succession for the Dodgers. But 2 away, and Tommy Edman comes up. Edman's 4 for 8 against Imanaga career. So, not only batting .500, getting it 1 hit every 2 times he faces them, but 3 of the 4 hits have been home runs. That one barely misses. Well, Edman starts with a good count, be able to pick his pitches. 2-0. That one clips the outside portion of the strike zone. 2-1. Edman's batting .293. And a couple games ago hit his 3rd home run. Now the count's 2-2. Edman was batting in the high 300s for a good month once he came back from his ankle surgery and rehab. Now he's kind of floated back down to earth. And the count's 2-2. And this one he swings and misses. And so Edman goes down with a strikeout. But Shohei Ohtani with the early fireworks for the Dodgers. And we go to the bottom of the first, and the Dodgers strike first blood, scores 1-0. So Eric Lauer taking the mound for the Dodgers. As we said in the pregame show, and I'll show it to you again, record of 6-5 with an ERA of 4.50. The big key is not giving up the long ball and giving up hits early. As you can see, he has given up 20 home runs on the season. He will be facing one of the best hitters in the league to start off, who also is lightning fast and has stolen a couple of bases in this series versus the Dodgers, Pete Crow Armstrong. First pitch from Lauer. And driven deep into right center. And this one's going to be gone. A first pitch, first at bat, leadoff home run by Pete Crow Armstrong. So the very thing that we said that Lauer had to avoid, he serves up with the very first pitch of the game. And that was right down the pipe and easy to track. You could see the ball traveling on a level that you could get in line with your bat if you were trying to track that. And it really was not difficult for Pete Crow Armstrong to give that one a ride. And so the Dodgers and the Cubs trade leadoff home runs. One from Shohei Ohtani and one from Pete Crow Armstrong. That'll bring up Suzuki. Lauer starts in with a ball, and this one struck deep to left field. Tommy Edman is running to his right, and he's able to make the catch. One away. Gosh, that's such the recipe for Dodgers' failure the last several games now. Even if they get out to an early lead, just giving it right back is so disheartening. Now Lauer's going to face Alex Bregman, the third batter in the Cubs lineup. He's batting .246. And if you're curious, 11 home runs. That one misses well outside, and the early count is 1-1. And that one Bregman turns on, but lines it foul. And it might be good for the Dodgers that he was so far ahead of that one, because he made great contact. Next pitch from Lauer to Bregman is outside. So now the count's even at 2-2. Really, the Cubs are really stingy and difficult at the plate, from the top all the way through the bottom of the lineup. As recently as yesterday, they had a hitter in the 8th position batting over 300. That one's fouled back, and Bregman continued to take his hacks, and he protects the plate with 2 strikes. The count remains 2-2. This one, he's also ahead. A line shot, but foul, curling into the stands once more. 1 out, nobody on base. Getting close to 10 pitches in this at bat. And that one misses outside. Now the count's full. This is part of what the Cubs do. They frustrate pitchers who are trying to have quick innings. Sometimes those innings are less than 10 pitches. Things go right. But when you have an at-bat like this, it's 10 pitches all by itself. You have to have some mental toughness to work through that as Bregman fouls another one off. This one is struck pretty well, but short. Andy Pages is running up and does one of his, I'll just say, patented slide catches. He's shown that probably 4 times now in this one series alone against the Chicago Cubs. That's one of the reasons Andy Pages is an all-star for the first time in his career this year. So now Lauer will face Kelly. Carson Kelly's batting .260 with 7 home runs. And looks at that one for a strike. Just barely catches the upper part of the strike zone. Next pitch on the way, misses outside. And this one is fly to right field, and it looks like it's going to drop in there for a base hit. So with 2 outs, Carson Kelly reaches, and the Cubs are still in business. Bringing up number 29, Michael Busch. Busch batting .241 on the season with 14 home runs. Lauer hoping to not give up another one this inning. The lefty Lauer throws to first, hold the runner. And I couldn't tell you, because I haven't seen this catcher play for the Dodgers this year. He hasn't played for the Dodgers before now. What kind of arm he has. As that one is swung on and missed by Busch. The count is 0-1. One on the way, fouled back. So now Michael Busch in the hole. 0-2 with 2 outs and a runner on first. Busch has 63 RBI this year. Looks a little breezy in Chicago as Busch fouls that one off and the count stays. Lauer now up to 19 pitches. Lauer with a pretty mediocre ERA. But still quite the turnaround. It was double that before the Dodgers acquired him. And so, needless to say, as frustrated as I get, at least, with the Dodgers pitching, their staff does a really good job developing and improving pitchers after they get them. They also have great facilities. And this one is grounded to second. Miguel Rojas picks it up, throws to first, no problem to end the inning. But Pete Crow Armstrong matches the effort by Shohei Ohtani And at the end of one, some early fireworks, and the score is 1-1. So Imanaga comes back out, and he's going to face Kyle Tucker, who will once again get some boos. Having played for the Chicago Cubs, only makes sense. But last night, in that chorus of boos, facing that chorus of boos, hit a solo home run, the only run that the Dodgers scored at Chicago. And if you're a Chicago Cubs fan, you can't watch on TV because it's blacked out or you'd get in trouble at work. Share this with one of your friends. It's almost as good. Easy to share the broadcast. Come on in. This is one of the reasons we started this channel. And that one is flied to left, shallow left. And 3 players in position, but the shortstop is going to take it. And 1 away at the top of the second. That's going to bring up Mookie Betts, who has dropped down to the 6th spot in the batting order. Batting a pretty meager .223. Mookie Betts is the only player in Dodgers history that has more leadoff home runs than Shohei Ohtani. Mookie was the #1 hitter for quite a while, until Shohei showed up and Mookie started to struggle. Also a result of the fact that Shohei, his pitching role for the Dodgers the last few years has been inconsistent. He was rehabbing an entire season where they shelved him as a pitcher, and so he just said, okay, I'll hit 50 home runs and steal 50 bases in a year. Betts files that one off. And then this year said, I want to win the Cy Young Award as the best pitcher in baseball, and he was on track to do it. The first quarter of the season, his ERA was less than 1, which is just absolutely crazy. And then he became a little more human. And then the last few weeks, he's had knee inflammation. And the Dodgers haven't given very much more information than that. It's a little bit mysterious. But needless to say, he's still in the batting order. So that one's also fouled off by Mookie. And that one misses, and now the count's full to Mookie. 3-2. This one's lined into left center, so Mookie gets himself a base hit. And on the verge of doing the Dodger dance, of course. We won't zoom in on it. So with one out, the Dodgers have somebody on base. This is key right here. Getting on base and moving base runners. And Max Muncy does a pretty solid job. Max has been all over the batting order recently. Sometimes fourth, sometimes eighth, sometimes sixth. Today he's in the seventh spot. Seems to be back to his solid defensive execution. Made some good plays yesterday. I was questioning for like 2 weeks whether there might be something off with his eyesight. I have to admit, I'm in a little bit of denial as I get older. And a very good friend bought me glasses this morning. Just such a kind gesture. And they worked instantly. Well, I guess it's because she's known me for so long, but so as a concerned citizen, I thought maybe Max needed to evaluate a prescription. He wears goggles when he's on the field, and they look like they could be prescription. But he's been much better on the defensive end the last couple of weeks. That one's fouled back by Muncy. So the count to him is 1-2. Muncy's batting .253. And Imanaga throws to first. And Mookie dives back in time. Even though he's an older veteran player, Mookie's got some wheels. I mean, you can see it when he plays defense. He's got great range, can play laterally as part of a really good defensive set for the Dodgers. And that one's fouled just to the right of first base. If you're a Cubs fan, let us know in the chat. Even though I'm a Dodgers fan, this is one of the reasons we have this new channel starting up, is to give people that are in favor of the home team where they live the opportunity to experience the game if for whatever reason they can't some other way. Another foul from Muncy. The count remains 1-2. See what kind of lead Mookie's getting over here. Second. Still on the base. It's getting close to... Oh yeah, he's past the cut with his backside foot. That's one reason why Managa's worried about him. That one is swung on and missed. Strike 3 for Muncy. Goes down swinging. And this is one thing that we can do that you can't do on TV. We can spin the view over and see what the lead is on first and whether that runner is trying to get a step ahead to either steal or be in position for a hit and run. So that'll bring up Miguel Rojas. Haven't seen him in the lineup for a couple of days, and that's because some of the more veteran starters have been coming back healthy for the Dodgers. Miguel's always game and had a crucial pinch hit in the World Series for the Dodgers. And the outcome of that championship run was in doubt. And just love his positive attitude. Doesn't drop his head when he has a challenge and lines this one right on cue into left field. Great job, Miguel. So now the Dodgers, with 2 outs, have runners at first and second, and Hunter Fiducia comes up, who's played in 61 games. He's the catcher in the 9th spot today. He's not played for the Dodgers because they just traded for him because of the injuries to their top catchers. Helps to have another left-handed bat in the lineup, especially because the Dodgers have struggled from that side of the plate recently. And swings and misses at that one. Count is 1-1 to Fiducia. Apparently, Fiducia, according to reports, had a big old mustache and then shaved it off. I don't know why. I think guys with mustaches look really good. If they're able to add a beard, even better. So, pitch on the way from Imanaga. It misses. It's 3-1. And if he walks Fiducia, the bases are going to be loaded, and Shohei Ohtani will be coming up. The possibility of hitting the grand slam. I don't know when the last time was that he hit a grand slam. But first things first, the pitch on the way. That one is lined to right, but the right fielder comes up and makes a nice play. Not too stressful for him, so we won't see a grand slam opportunity for Shohei. And we go to the bottom of the second, and the score remains 1-1. All right, so Eric Lauer hopefully is going to follow what used to be the pattern, which isn't necessarily a positive thing, but a starting pitcher from the Dodgers giving up an early home run, but then settling in and doing a really good job. And 1 run, I mean, in the big scheme of things, is not very much. But boy, it's a difficult ride if you're a Dodgers fan. Seeing us jump out to an early lead with a leadoff home run from Shohei Ohtani, and then giving it right back with one swing on the very first pitch by Pete Crow Armstrong. So Horner comes up for the first time today, batting in the 6th spot with a .258 average. Fouls that one off. Counts 0-1. Once again, Lauer pitching much better this year, and his win-loss record shows it. But part of it's because of the run support he gets from the Dodgers batters. Before they traded for him from the Toronto Blue Jays, who the Dodgers played in the World Series, he was getting a little more than 3 runs per game from his teammates every time he pitched. Right now, the Dodgers are averaging 8 every time he's on the bump. And that one is grounded through the hole into right field for a base hit by Horner. So that's going to bring up Hap. Hap in the 7th spot, batting .215. A good sign that Lauer's getting ahead in the count. That one catches the edge of the strike zone. And Lauer mindful of the runner at first. And jams up Hap on that one. So 0-2 now. Wonder how big the lead is over there. Take a look. Only his front foot at the cut. And not much of a threat, I don't think, based on alignment. Try to steal. That one, oh, I thought that was a strike. That was right on the edge of the strike zone. But the count is 1-2. Infield shifted way over. You can see right behind Lauer as that one misses. The count's 2-2. That Miguel Rojas is kind of over his shoulder. Really close to second base. And this happens with almost every batter now. If the batter's right-handed, the infield will shift to the left the way that the batter looks at it. And that one's flied for an out. And also vice versa, because most hitters, when they decide to hit, will start pretty early when the ball's on its way. And more often than not, they'll hit it to the side that they stand in the batter's box, also known as pulling the ball. So, of course, the defense trying to shift and be in the most probable spot. So Dansby Swanson comes up. And in the last 40 games, much better as a hitter, almost averaging 300 than the beginning of the season. Fouls that one off, and the count's 0-1. And Lauer throws to first. Keep Nico Horner honest. Nico just grins. Big old grin like, you're not going to get me, and probably not even try to steal. But he keeps him closer to the bag nonetheless. And Swanson, if you're curious, has 17 home runs on the season. That one misses. Pitch on the way from Lauer, and this one is lined into left field, and it's going to be big trouble. It's going all the way to the corner. Tommy Edmonds fast, but he's not that fast. And it looks like the Cubs are going to have another run come home standing up, thanks to the stand-up double by Dansby Swanson. That one landed just inside the foul line and then curled into the corner, which is always, always the most difficult spot to get to the ball. And almost always, unless a guy's really slow, it's going to score somebody from first base. So now the Cubs have their first lead of this game. And that brings up Tyrone Taylor, number 55. Only one out, and that runner, as a result of that double, in scoring position now, second base. And that one's fouled back. And the count's 0-2 to Taylor. Not really a situation for the Dodgers to turn a double play and end the inning, so most likely Pete Crow Armstrong, who hit that leadoff home run, and is on deck, going to come up and face Lauer again this inning. As that one jams up Taylor and is also a foul ball. This is where Lauer needs to be most of the game. He's up on somebody with 2 strikes, 0-2 precisely, as that one misses inside for a ball. Batters typically have well below a 150 batting average. And this one is flied to right center, and there's going to be a tag at second base, sliding safely into third. So the sacrifice fly puts the runner 90 feet closer to home with one of the best players in baseball coming up, who already hit a home run today, Pete Crow Armstrong. He's actually being talked about in the MVP category along with Shohei Ohtani, not just because he's one of the best batters in baseball, but he's lightning fast, does a great job in the outfield, and because he's fast, he steals bases as well, creating new opportunities for the Cubs to score. And the Cubs are doing again what they've done better than anybody else in the National League, and that is score runs with 2 outs, which is not what the Dodgers have been doing recently. And that one's low, and Pete chases it. It counts 1-2. Two strikes, Lauer delivers, and this one is blistered deep to right field off of the ivy. That will easily score the runner from third, and Pete Crow Armstrong now adds a double to his home run and goes into second base standing up. And not a good pitch when you're ahead in the count like that. The Cubs now have their 3rd run. That's going to bring up the second hitter, Suzuki, 0 for 1 so far today. And batting .273. He's got power too. I mean, he had a home run earlier against the Dodgers in the series. Pitch from Lauer is lined straight to Mookie Betts. Actually, it was over his shoulder. He had to backhand it, but caught that line drive in the air. Nice play by Mookie to end the inning. But at the end of 2, Chicago extends their lead, and it's the Dodgers 1, Chicago 3. All right, so return visit to the plate for Shohei Ohtani, who already has a home run this game. First pitch misses well outside for a ball, 1-0. Dodgers will have an off day tomorrow. Good day to go to the beach if you happen to live close to one. And that one's fouled off. Counts 1-2 to Shohei. And a well-placed splitter gets Shohei on the bottom inside corner for strike 3. Goes down swinging, and 1 out. The top of the 3rd. That's going to bring up Andy Pages. Pages already with an excellent catch earlier in this game. And swings at the first pitch and gets it past the diving shortstop into left field for a base hit. Which is a little surprising because, as I was saying before, typically the infield shifts. You can see them walking right now on the dirt. If you look behind the pitcher, the white guys in white on the dirt are shifting to the other side because now a left-handed batter, Freddie Freeman's coming up. And they didn't look particularly shifted on that, and I think that's why on the broadcast, Imanaga had like a little bit of a frustrated purse of the lips, saying, man, if the shortstop had been playing a little further to his right, he might have been able to stop that ball and throw the guy out, but instead he gives up a base hit. And Freddie Freeman swings and misses at that one. And count to him is 1-1. Freddie's 0 for 1 so far today. His average is at a nice, healthy 309. Tommy Edman on deck, who's in a little bit of a small slump at this point. That one misses low and outside. Count to Freddie Freeman is 3-1. So definitely looking for a good pitch that he can drive here. With one out and a runner at first. And that one was in the strike zone, a little bit high, but he fouls it back. So now the count's full. Imanaga delivers, and Freddie fights that one off. Count still is full, 3-2. And Freddie's doing what many good hitting teams do, and that is fouling off a bunch of pitches and staying alive. But he and maybe Andy Pages are the only two Dodger batters that are kind of doing that on a regular basis, which can wear down pitchers. And this one is hit over the shortstop's head and safely into the outfield in left center. And Freddie Freeman with another game and a hit. I believe that's his 17th game in a row with a hit, and he moves Andy Pages to second. Now Tommy Edman in the cleanup spot comes up with an opportunity to get the Dodgers a run. One out, runners at first and second. You can see that in the top left corner using our command center. In fact, some viewers will use the command center in the top left to kind of see a little preview of what's about to happen on the 3D visualization. And the pitch to Edman is fouled along the left field side. And the count now is 1-2. So one out, and Edman trying to make some noise here. And that one catches the inside edge of the strike zone, called strike 3, but he's going to challenge it, taps his head. And initially it looked like he might have something going, but the call is actually confirmed. So Tommy Edman strikes out again. And now the Dodgers have one challenge left for the rest of the game. with 2 outs, runners at first and second. That's going to bring up Kyle Tucker. Here's some boos, but not quite as many as he has the first 2 games. Swings at the first pitch, flies it to center, but not going to be very much trouble there. And the ball is caught for the 3rd out of the inning, and the Dodgers fit the same pattern they've had recently. They leave runners on base, and they can't bring them home. So we're going to go to the bottom of the 3rd, and the Dodgers still stuck at 1 run, and the Cubs at 3. All right, so Eric Lauer back on the mound. Trying to keep the Dodgers close. And he's going to start with Bregman. Bregman's 0 for 1 so far today. Batting .245 on the season. And this one is grounded to third. Max Muncy backhands it. Has a really long throw, but bounces it all the way to Freddie Freeman in time. And yeah, maybe I shouldn't question his eyesight anymore. That was a nice job. Stay in your own lane, Aaron. It's going to bring up the number 4 hitter, Kelly. It's 1 for 1. Who swings and misses at the first pitch. It was just high and out of the strike zone. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome to LA Press Box. We are not just here for LA fans, but also especially home fans when the Dodgers are on the road that have trouble connecting with the game for whatever reason. So if you're a Cubs fan, not only are you welcome, go ahead and share it with one of your buddies who might be at work right now. Can't see it on TV. This one is driven hard to left field, but Tommy Edman got a good jump on the ball, good angle, and makes the catch close to the warning track for the second out. If you are in Chicago, let us know in the chat. And let me know what the weather looks like. They've shown the flags kind of swirling there near the outfield. It also looks a little bit overcast. So now Bush comes up, who's 0 for 1. Lauer's got 2 outs, hoping to have a relatively easy inning for a change. Lauer looking more comfortable and doing a good job still, generally speaking, getting ahead in the counts early. But just giving up a couple of blasts. Made a couple of mistakes for home runs and doubles. This one is hit by Bush deep, and I did not know this was going to happen, guys. He just hits it right off the fence for yet another double. Andy Pages was not able to get there in time. And with 2 outs, the Cubs are cubbing. They score more runs than any other team in the National League with 2 outs, facing a change of innings. And that's just a sign of mental toughness, really. Historic Wrigley Field, where the Chicago Bears played almost 50 years. And that's a lot of wear and tear on a field. And it's not really necessarily fun for the athletes of either sport. When I was a college football player, we came to San Diego and played in a stadium before they built Petco, where there was the dirt from the infield on it. And if you fell down, which I did quite often, unfortunately, on that dirt, it did not feel good. But of course, you're wearing cleats and all kinds of guys tearing up the grass, which I know wouldn't make a baseball player very happy. Having played baseball myself, although mainly catcher in the dirt. I guess that's just where I've ended up living. Far from ideal circumstances when, especially you're playing defense and the ball hits one of those imperfect spots and takes a weird bounce. So the 6th hitter, Horner's up with 2 outs and a runner on second after the double off the wall in center field. Lauer takes a glance at second, delivers to Horner, and gets him to swing and miss. The first strikeout of the game for Lauer, and the first appearance by Charlie, our LA press box animated mascot. And Lauer does a solid job, although he gave up the double, cleans up his own mess. And after 3, the Dodgers are at 1 and the Cubs at 3. Throw down a second from the catcher, and Imanaga back to the mound. One of many outstanding Japanese players. And I remember when the Dodgers manager, Tommy Lasorda, first started making trips decades ago to Japan to promote American baseball abroad. And boy, did it pay dividends. So Mookie Betts comes up and has a hit today. Mookie in the sixth spot, trying to climb back up, and has another nice hit into left center. Rounds first for his second single, and now he's 2 for 2. And does the Dodger dance. I wonder if that is a more official name for that. I don't know. Maybe our research department will get on that and let you know. Something we've dabbled with recently is whether to research player tattoos, but I don't know if that's something that would interest people. Get in the chat and let us know. But now Max Muncy comes up with nobody out and a runner at first. Swings and misses at a pitch out of the strike zone. Now the count's 0-2. Muncy's already struck out once today. Hey, Alaska! Missed you last night. You missed Shohei Ohtani's leadoff home run. And make that a second strikeout for Muncy. All right, so Miguel Rojas coming up. 1 for 1. Gosh, I love Miguel Rojas. And you can see that he's got a winning mentality. The natural inclination when you have a struggle, let's say you strike out, or you make a mistake, you make an error, is that you drop your head or you have negative body language. But he just looks determined and positive instead, and that's obviously a part of the foundation of his success. And that one misses high, and the count to Miguel is 1-1. And Miguel probably feels pretty fresh, having not played in the last couple of games. Fouls that one off. Counts 1-2. Dodgers trying to get something going early. We don't want to see, if you're a Dodger fan, is trying to claw back into the thing as it gets away from you in the late innings. In the second quarter of the season, I could say with some regularity that once the seventh inning rolled around, if the Dodgers are behind, usually you could expect some kind of a flurry of scoring, but needless to say, that has not been the case during this losing streak. One-two pitch, fouled off, and the count stays 1-2. Rojas is batting .282, if I'm not mistaken. A quick peek over here at our command center. Rojas. Yeah, I mean, just auto adjusted to 280. I love how it does that in the command center. Um, which is really solid. I mean, his batting average is above most of the Dodgers. And this one he swings and misses for strike 3. So 2 away. And that brings up the catcher once again, the number 9 hitter, Fiducia. He made good contact the first time up. It just happened to be right to a Cubs defender. That was encouraging. Batting .232 this season. One misses low and outside. That right in there. Good pitch. Out now 1-1 with Shohei Ohtani lurking on deck. And that one grounded to second. It's not going to be any trouble. Thrown to first for the 3rd out. And we go to the middle of the 4th, and the Dodgers still stuck at 1, and the Cubs, they have 3. So Lauer back up to the mound after a positive outing the last inning, but struggled the first couple. And he's going to face Happ. 7 hitters, 0 for 1. And batting a meager .214 this season. Early count to Hap is 2-2. And that one misses. Now the count is full to Hap, 3-2. And that one is grounded to Max Muncy, who gets over there easily and once again throws out a cup. But Muncy looking more like his old self. And it's good to see him string together a couple of games in a row where being able to field is not in question. He's had some where they just hit off of the thumb of his glove, or he just misjudged. His glove was too low or too high. But hopefully that little brief stretch is in the past for this season. And that brings up the 8-hitter, Swanson, who's 1 for 1 today, batting .221. Swanson looks at the first pitch for the strike, and the second one outside for a ball, so the count is 1-1. Pitch from Lauer is popped up high and foul. Freddie Freeman and Fiducia both heading over there, but Freddie Freeman is the person that calls him off and makes the catch for the out. And 2 away. That's one of the things we were talking about yesterday. It's nice when it's boring for your team on the defensive side of the ledger. For a lot of yesterday during Tarek Skubal's debut for the Dodgers, that's how it was. And that's how last inning felt a little bit, although Lauer gave up a double. Feels a little boring now in a good way if you're a Dodger fan. Nobody on, 2 away. And you'd love for Lauer to record the third out now and not have to face Pete Crow Armstrong again after a home run and a double. Crow Armstrong is on deck, while the 9-hitter, Taylor, is up there taking his hacks. Fouls that one off. Taylor's 0 for 1 today. His average is .235. Lauer's already given up 2 home runs today, and this one's driven to the left field, but it curves just foul of the foul pole and a little bit short of a home run. We'll take that as Dodgers fans on both counts. We have a little bit of PTSD based on the last several games. Oh, please, we don't want to see Pete Crow Armstrong again this inning. Please, please. Let's get Taylor out. You know, only batting .235 for crying out loud as that one misses. And yeah, this is the thing about baseball. It can seem slow for a long time, but when you care, the tension can build. 3-2 pitch is lined into left field for a base hit, and you know what? The nightmare continues. And his name is Pete Crow Armstrong coming up. But I do have to give a shout out to Cesar Rodriguez. One of my fondest memories playing baseball is back in the day in the neighborhood, and Cesar's his front yard was the home run for our crew as we played over the line. His mom who's also a Dodger fan. So gracious in letting us kill the grass there. That was mainly my fault because, of course, I was the primary home run hitter. And those balls and those people diving, trying to catch those balls, was a little bit of a nuisance. And she never said a peep. But glad Caesar can join us on the broadcast. Also have a word out to another one of our buddies. Many of the guys from the old neighborhood are still close and in good contact. Rogelio Johnson, and who's a fan of all things Chicago, including the Cubs. And this one is launched. Pete Crow Armstrong with his second home run. This one off the flipping scoreboard. And if Rogelio, if you're not in here, I'm glad. Because that's the last thing I want to do is hear from you and talk about how the Cubs are awesome, which honestly they're showing right now. My gosh. Get Lauer out now. Get him out. Get him out. I mean, he just served that right exactly where Pete Crow Armstrong could just take advantage of it. That's like a T-ball getting served up to a little kid. What I mean is, it wasn't particularly fast. It was in the middle of the strike zone, so an easy place to reach. And it was kind of on the same horizontal plane the whole time, and he could see it coming from a mile away. And honestly, it looks almost like the same pitch that he had when he hit the other home run. I mean, Lauer's like a dream for him right now. And yet another game, after losing 5 straight, where the Dodgers trail early, they're going to have to climb their way back into it. And that's going to bring up Suzuki. And Suzuki lines this one over the head of a jumping Max Muncy. And into the corner, the place you never want to see the ball die. And another stand-up double for Suzuki. So Dave Roberts, hey, I said get Lauer out. Did my message not make it to you? While we can still claw our way back. And now the pitching coach comes out. Why is Dave Roberts not coming out? Give this guy the flipping hook. And it's nothing personal. If it was me, I'd say give me the hook. Sure, Lauer's a great person. I do not know him personally. Probably a lovely human being. But right now, we need to stay within striking distance. The next game after the Dodgers are off, Roki Sasaki is going to pitch. He has been a little bit of a bright light as an individual story because he started the game very good and also struggled, but lately has been in better space. And Bregman turns on this very first pitch because they don't take Lauer out. And what do you know? Somebody scores again, sliding it home, even though he didn't need to. And now the Cubs have 6. And maybe Dave Roberts will take him out now. They're just teeing off on Eric Lauer. Sometimes, I mean, you just don't have it. Pitchers, you can usually tell in the first inning whether they have good stuff that's moving, that they can place well, or they don't. He just doesn't have it. And it looks like they have Enriquez up in the bullpen getting loose. But the hole just got a little bit bigger. Kelly comes up the cleanup with a 261 average, and he's 1 for 2 today. So 3 runs given up just this inning by Lauer to the Cubs. And yes, there's 2 outs, but there's a runner on, and the Cubs are the most dangerous team in the National League with 2 outs. And that one misses outside. I'm sure Lauer's a little bit shaken. He's at the point now where he's not even throwing early strikes. And why would you when you're getting blasted? You don't want anybody to touch it. That one just catches the corner of the strike zone. The count's 2-1. If you're joining us in Chicago and doing it during work, awesome. You are welcome. Go ahead and share this with your friends who might not be able to watch the game, whether it's blacked out or it's just not acceptable workplace etiquette to have the TV on and watch the Cubs. That one's fouled back by Kelly. Evens the count, 2-2. Already 10 hits for the Cubs, not halfway through this game. That one in the dirt. It's really poor control by Lauer today. And you're never going to have a player in this sport especially, and to some extent, even the ones that are really brutal physically, like football, I presume hockey, basketball, you're almost never going to have a player say, I need to come out, unless they're completely gassed. So just like when you watch baseball now in the modern age, where they'll touch their head to say, I want to challenge the call, it's completely something else in football. If a player touches his head like this and looks at the sideline, he's telling the coach, hey, I need a couple of plays to be on the sideline and catch my breath. Lauer, it's not Lauer's job to say, I need to come out now. It's the manager's job to take him out. And right on cue, Kelly gets a base hit. I mean, dude, it's obvious. And it looks like Lauer's he almost walked off the field on his own, according to the 3D right there. And this is the thing I don't like about Dave Roberts. I don't like when he decides to make changes or not make changes in the pitching staff. I think he's really good at timed substitutions and changes in the batting order, but the pitching is not his thing. So Lauer gives up yet another base hit, and yes, he's still left in there. 11 hits off of Lauer. Pete Crow Armstrong is just owning him, and other players on the Cubs roster getting into the party. First pitch misses for a ball to Bush. Bush is 1 for 2 today. We have a 242 average. And another shout out. I know we talked about Caesar earlier, and it was great to have Caesar. Hopefully his mom was able to join us too briefly on the broadcast. But now, finally, say this tentatively, Rogelio Johnson joins us. And I think back about Ro's competitive spirit quite fondly and his loyalty to Chicago sports teams. And comes in at a time where we're just eating crow, Dodgers fans, and the Cubs are owning us right now. And that one is fouled off by Bush. Without a play, and the count is 2-2. But Roe and his brother Lamar was one of a number of sibling pairs in the neighborhood that survived the childhood that all Gen X kids survived, but was also a blessing because we were left to our devices many times. And needless to say, we were in the street playing all kinds of sports year round. Could have been over the line, like I mentioned before, right in front of Caesar's house. Could have been pickup basketball, in which case Roe would have just completely tore me up. Sometimes we played touch football in the street, tore up our school clothes, at least I did. And that's just something that would be completely outlandish by today's kid standards. The pitch to Bush is fly to left, and it's going to be easily caught there, but that's got to be the end for Lauer. Please, put him out of his misery. He's like a wounded dog at this point. But unfortunately now, after we've tolerated that long stretch, and Dave Roberts refused to make a change, we're now through 4, and the Dodgers are down by 5, 1-6. So using the LA Press Box command center, you can see so far as the box score goes, that it's been a hit parade for the Chicago Cubs. 11 hits, 6 runs. And if you just look no further than Pete Crow Armstrong, you can see how the Cubs have abused Eric Lauer to this point. He's got 2 home runs, which you can see all the way to the end of his column, or his line rather. With 3 hits, he's 3 for 3. And the Dodgers are going to try to stop the bleeding now. Ideally with Shohei Ohtani coming up. And if Pete Crow Armstrong can hit 2 home runs, why not Shohei Ohtani? In my opinion, the best overall player of this generation. If you're a Cubs fan, whether you're in Chicago or not, and you're at work today, go ahead and share this with your buddies, especially if they can't watch the game while they're working. At the very least, they can listen and hear what's going on. And one of the things that's cool about the 3D, even though it's not live TV broadcast, is you can actually... Sorry. Ro just gave me a very fun message. Yeah, Ro, go ahead and put that in the chat, Ro. It's okay. You don't have to hide that. Totally lost my train of thought. Go ahead and share this with people that can listen, and then we can rotate the 3D to see certain aspects that you might want to see of the field and how the players are shifted, how they're taking a lead in the game that you couldn't get on a TV broadcast. Shohei lines that one into the outfield for another base hit. And a leadoff single is exactly what the Dodgers need. And that'll bring up Andy Pages, who was 1 for 2 today. But over the last string of handful of games, kind of almost a tease when the Dodgers get runners on base. Because they routinely, as of late, have not been moving them along and bringing them home to translate those into runs on the scoreboard. And that one misses. Count is 2-1 to Andy Pages. And that one's hit pretty deep to center field, but Tyrone Taylor's going to catch it just about halfway into the warning track. And so one away for the Dodgers. So it's better than hitting into a double play, which is what the Dodgers lead the National League in. It's not something you're particularly proud of, although that might be a little bit skewed as a result of putting the ball in play, which is better than striking out. At least you force the defense to make a play, which Taylor did right there. So Freddie Freeman comes up. And first pitch, well inside and high, and Freddie Freeman kind of accidentally check swings. Kind of more flinching, but it hit off the bat, and it counts for a strike nonetheless. There's a small dispute in the old neighborhood that, according to Caesar, I was not the primary home run hitter in Over the Line. That's the way I remember it. We might have to have an official meeting, see if there's any stats that still remain from the old days. And Freddie fouls that one off. That one's driven deep to left center. Both outfielders converging on that. Wow, what speed. What speed by both of them to get there, and the catch is made. And yet another example of why the Cubs might have the best defense in baseball. Next week, Dodgers are having a night where they celebrate El Salvadorian heritage. And good old friend Cesar Rodriguez is El Salvadorian. So that reminder came over the broadcast, and it was well timed. But boy, we had all kinds in the neighborhood. There was me and my brother and sister. We had El Salvadorians. We had Filipinos. We had African Americans, Mexicans, the whole gamut pretty much. As Edmund fouls that one back. And that's one of the things that I do like about the Dodgers is, taking a moment to recognize different cultures. So Tommy Edman struggling just a little bit. And this one is grounded to short. Second baseman's playing over and got to the other side of second base to backhand it and throw it to first. But Tommy Edman, with that brand new ankle, thanks to the surgery and the rehab, legs it and beats the throw. Hey, there's Roe in the chat. What were you claiming, Roe? That I pushed you under a car? If I pushed you under a car, it was probably, I'm sure it was an accident because you're a lovely person, Rogelio. And it was probably in the heat of the moment because we were playing two-hand touch football. Probably should have made it one-hand touch, then it's less shovey. But Kyle Tucker comes up with two outs and runners at first and second, and yet another opportunity that we hope, as Dodgers fans at least, we don't waste. That one is popped into the outfield, but it's not going to be too much. Wow, this is impressive. And in a way, I kind of think of it from a football coaching standpoint because that's really my wheelhouse. But when the ball's hit, whether it's the infield or the outfield, the Cubs have so much speed, and this is something you can see on the 3D that you can't really see on a TV broadcast because they zoom in on the one player who's most likely going to catch the ball right away. They have multiple players there in position to make that play. Whether it was a couple of deep hits in this last inning by the Dodgers that could have bounced off the wall for doubles, you had two different outfielders there in place. Or some of these short pop-ups into the outfield where they have three players, maybe two infielders and one outfielder, all converging. Like, they have outstanding team defensive speed. And they're also really good at seeing the ball off the bat and taking the right angle to where the ball's going to land. And that's not something you take for granted either. It's something you're constantly trying to coach. And these are the reasons why they have such an outstanding defense. And so, yeah, it's disappointing as a Dodgers fan to see them once again not bring home any runs that inning. But I've always been of the mindset that you recognize a good job in your opponents when they show outstanding play. I'll literally do that on the sideline as a coach. And people sometimes will give me a weird look, but I appreciate that. So now we're going to the bottom of the fifth, fans, and the Dodgers still stuck at one, and the Cubs coming up with a lead of 5. And Kike Hernandez is coming into the game. Maybe that's what we need. We need a little spice. I'd love to see a big play or two by Kike Hernandez and the reemergence of the middle finger at this point. Because we look kind of sad. So Lauer finally out, and now Enriquez comes in, who's a flamethrower. And he's going to face Horner. Nico's already been on base once today. He's 1 for 2. And his very first pitch is a fastball right down the pipe for 100 miles an hour. This two-hand touch. Yes. Apparently it's been confirmed that pushed somebody under a car as a kid when we were playing two-hand touch football in the street. Thanks for reminding me of that. I'm not proud of it. I should remember my many faults on a regular basis. I am a little bit like a bull in a china shop sometimes. I do admit that. And that one's chopped in a really difficult place. Hernandez tries to get to it, slides and misses it. And then Muncy runs over, but it was just hit like a chip shot in golf in the perfect spot and the perfect speed. And there's just no way to make a play on that, especially with a speedy Nico Horner legging it and turning it into an infield hit. So nobody out and a runner on. Bring up the 7-hitter Hap, who is hitless today. 3 home runs already in this game. And Hap steps out. Felt like he was in that batter's box a little bit too long. And that fastball misses inside. And that one misses. Count is 2-0. That one catches the corner of the strike zone. Now the count's 2-1. As Wrigley Field is playing They Not Like Us stadium. That's a little bit hurtful, honestly. Because we're looking at a second straight series sweep. And of course, we're down by 5 runs. And that's supposed to be like LA culture. That song's supposed to be partly like an LA pride thing. And that one is swung on and missed, a high pitch. It was hard for Hap to lay off. And strike 3 for Enriquez. So that'll bring up Dansby Swanson. We had a rocket last time up, and he's 1 for 2 on the day. That one's fouled off for strike 1. Swanson's been 6 for 9 this series, so he's definitely got the Dodgers number. And that one's fouled off, just to the left of third base. Makes the count 1-2. And this one gets past the catcher, Fiducia. Can we see that? Oh yeah, I can spin this around. I didn't know I can spin that all the way that way. And unfortunately, allows the runner to get to second base. So a wild pitch charged to Enriquez. A little bit out of the reach of Fiducia. And the count's 1-2. And that one's fouled off. This pitch called a ball, but the catcher is going to challenge. Brand new catcher, Fiducia. Dodgers only have one challenge left, and it's successful for strike 3. Good job, noob. I'm going to make that call. And that was a big one, keeping the Dodgers around in terms of striking distance, at least on the scoreboard in terms of the math. With a guy on second base and taking that and turning it into a strikeout. So 2 away, runners at first and second. And Tyrone Taylor's coming up. That one catches the strike zone in the upper inside corner. Oh, and that one hits Taylor. I think it hit him on the shoulder. He seems okay. And, let's hope the nightmare doesn't continue, because now it's bases loaded with 2 outs, and you know who's coming up. Dude already has 2 home runs and a double. And if Enriquez throws him a fastball and he makes good contact, it might leave the entire stadium. Can I Venmo Pete some money so he won't swing? Come on, Pete, be nice. Oh, nope, he swung. But fortunately, that was a strike. In 16 games against the Dodgers this year, Pete Crow Armstrong has hit 6 home runs. That one's fouled back, so he's taking his hacks and feeling good. Counts 0-2. Enriquez takes a peek. The runner at second, not much of a lead. He's shadowed by a Dodger defender. And gets him to swing and miss, strike 3 on a high pitch. Ooh, that's a bit of a relief. And at the end of 5 now, it's still the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 6. All right, so Dodgers taking another crack at it with Mookie Betts, who's got 2 hits already today. That's a relief. And this one is driven, ooh, almost into left. No, it is into left field, just over the outstretched hand of the shortstop. And now Mookie's 3 for 3. And another leadoff runner. And now, as you can see, all the guys in the white jerseys are shifting to the right for the lefty, Max Muncy, who regularly pulls the ball hard and deep to the right corner when he makes contact. He's the Dodgers' second leading home run hitter as well. If he hits it in that corner, that could definitely score a run. And that one's well inside. He hops out of the way. You know, Max is kind of, I won't say he's pudgy. I think he was pudgy before he lost 20 or 30 pounds this last offseason. But he's compact. He's compact. And I don't see why he would jump out of the way when that ball was about to hit him in the leg. Get on base. Take one for the team, as they say. That one, he blasts to right field, but not quite in the corner. And caught easily, pretty much easily in right field for the first out of the inning. That's going to bring up Miguel Rojas, who's 1 for 2 today. Miguel got the start at second base, pushing Tommy Edman into left field. And Ferguson throws to first. Almost got Mookie Betts leaning the wrong way at the wrong time. There's so much calculation when it comes to baseball to make the difference of inches, sometimes that inch. And this is where your brain can really give you an edge. Ferguson almost looked like he was intentionally throwing it to first at the exact moment that Mookie Betts was leaning on his right leg towards second base. And he had to change momentum and shoot right back and slide in barely ahead of the touch at first. And Rojas swings and misses. Now the count's 0-2. Hoping that we don't have yet another tease of an inning from a Dodger perspective. With the lead batter on base, hoping he doesn't get stuck there once again. That one well high at the strike zone, and Rojas couldn't lay off of it. Swings, goes down. So 2 away, and now the catcher, Fiducia, is up. Fiducia did make good contact his first time up, but it just happened to be to the wrong person. The wrong spot in the field. Fouls the first pitch off here for 0-1. That one also fouled off. 0-2 to Fiducia. Fiducia's batting .231 on the season. Relief pitcher Ferguson in the game, number 64. Looks like a bigger dude. Just going to guess. I'd say he's 6'3". Yeah, maybe 6'2". That last pitch missed, and the count's 1-2. That 2-2 as the next pitch is outside. And that one's driven to center, but it doesn't look like it's going to be any trouble. And once again, the Dodgers leave a runner on, not able to put a dent in the lead. And we go to the middle of the sixth, and it's still the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 6. All right, the Dodgers make a substitution and bring in Kyle Hurt, who has not been dispensing the pain lately, but feeling it. And he's going to face the number 2 hitter, Suzuki, who's 1 for 3 today. Dodgers staring firmly down the barrel of losing their 6th straight game. Hurt fires a strike there. Swung on a miss there, and the count's 0-2 to Suzuki. And that one is line foul along the left field side. Another foul by Suzuki. This time to the right side and in the rear. Out of play. Make that another. It gets jammed up inside, but makes contact and defends the strike zone with 2 strikes. And this one gets Suzuki spinning and missing for strike 3. First punch out of the game for Kyle Hurt. So that's going to bring up Bregman, batting third and 1 for 3 today as he swings and misses at the first pitch. One away, nobody on. And that one goes straight to Max Muncy at third base, who gets it quickly and cleanly and throws it to Kike Hernandez, who's playing first in place of Freddie Freeman. And no alarm is called for. Freddie Freeman just getting a break. And Kike getting back into the swing of things after his long rehab assignment. So that brings up Kelly, who swings at the first pitch, and it's into center field. But Andy Pages is going to jog up there and make that play without much trouble. And so, good job by Kyle Hurt. And at the end of 6, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 6. So Ferguson comes back out to the mound to face the Dodgers. We'll start with Shohei Ohtani. All 3 of his at-bats today, he's led off the inning. And he's 2 for 3. Pushing up his batting average to 296 now. Started the game with a leadoff home run. Dodgers have been teasing us Dodger fans in more than one way. They've had several games during this losing streak that they started the game with a bang. Whether it's Shohei or somebody else hitting a home run early, jumping out to an early lead, and then it's like crickets after that. Shohei swings and misses at that. The other one is getting runners on base and not doing anything with them. And that one misses for ball two, 2-1. That one fouled back. And the fans fighting over that, I'm sure. And that pitch swung on and missed by Otani. And a really good track. You could see that for just a split second with the 3D. And that's one of the cool things about the 3D is it traces the path of the baseball. Sometimes it hangs up in the air longer than others. But that started away and high from Otani and bent all the way to low and inside. Wicked pitch from Ferguson. So one away. And Andy Pages comes up, who's 1 for 3 today. An early count to him is 1 of the hole, 0-2. That one misses low and outside for ball 1. 1 out, nobody on for the Dodgers. That one popped up. Just for a moment, I'm going to look here and see how many hits they have. And the Dodgers have 9 hits, just have not been able to put them together the right timing and push runners across home plate. And as you can see over here in the gold, and well, you can't really see it because my picture's in the way. The Cubs have 12 hits. They've been able to cash in on a pretty regular basis. This pitch on the way, outside. And now the count to Andy is 2-2. That one misses, and now it's a full count. And that one's blasted into the dugout for the Cubs. And the reports are that it hit Greg Counsell, but he's okay. This is what we were talking about before. This is kind of a classic at bat from Andy, where he battles and battles and battles, and sometimes wears a pitcher down, creates a base hit. And that one was eye high and couldn't lay off of that candy. Swings and misses underneath it for strike 3. So 2 away. That'll bring up Kike Hernandez, who subbed for Freddie Freeman at first base. And Kike, in limited action this year, is batting .313 with 1 home run. First pitch misses outside for ball 1. This one is fly to center field. Shouldn't really be much trouble. Taylor is a few steps in front of the warning track and makes the catch for the 3rd out of the inning. And we go to the seventh inning stretch. Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 6. So Michael Bush comes up again. He's 1 for 3 today. And Kyle Hurt gets another bite at the apple this inning. The pitch from Hurt is struck cleanly into center field, where Alex Call is there instead of Andy Pages. Round it up and throw it in, and Cubs start with another single. So apparently Andy Pages is done for the day. And Alex Call, happy to take his reps when he can get them. Speedy Call plays center field, obviously, but also plays second base. That's going to bring up Nico Horner, who's 2 for 3 today. That's pushed up his average just a little bit to 261. And this one is struck deep to left field. And it bounces, takes a high bounce to the top of the hedge, and then falls back into play. That was really funky. I don't know if that was a ground rule double. I mean, it ended up being a double. That'll be his third hit on the day. And it was like this delayed fall through it went in the top of the ivy and came out the bottom like a Plinko game. And I'm not exactly sure the rule on that, but the Dodgers apparently are challenging to say that should have been a dead ball. And if that challenge is successful, I don't know precisely what that would lead to. I don't know if that would only send the runner from second base back to first. I doubt that. What would be great is if it nullified the run that scored and it remained 1-6 instead of 1-7. That was really funky. And some of the reports on the broadcast are that maybe maybe there are other balls that are just have been lost in the ivy there. I don't know how that's possible when you have a professional team worth who knows how many hundreds of millions of dollars or billions of dollars that they wouldn't like track every single baseball and make sure that none of them get lost in there like you're playing in your neighborhood. This to be a theme of the day, I guess. But the result is that the challenge is unsuccessful. The Dodgers are out of challenges. That call is confirmed, and now the score balloons to 7-1. So now Hap is up. And fouls that one off. The early count to Hap is 0-2. Hap's 0 for 3 today. And that pitch misses high for ball one. And Hap swings and misses for strike three. So another punch out for Kyle Hurt. So that'll bring up Swanson. Swanson, one of many Cubs with hits today. He's 1 for 3. First pitch misses high and a little inside for ball one. And he swings at a low pitch there. Counts 1-1. This one is grounded to third, barely fair. And after I give Muncy credit for having perfect eyesight, it was a tough play, but that one bounced off of his turned around glove. And Swanson's on base again. Now Dave Roberts is going to make a shift and bring in a new pitcher for Kyle Hurt. Thanks for joining us, Ro. Hopefully we'll see you again, not just for a Cubs game. And thanks to everybody that's participated in the chat. We're a new channel, and the more you type and you click and you like, the more that the algorithm's going to say, hey, you know what? Maybe we should show this to more people and get this channel off the ground. Take a look at the box score right now. Take a look at the pitching so far. So in our command center, you can see that Eric Lauer only pitched 4 innings, gave up 11 hits, 6 runs, and a couple of dingers there. Then Edgardo Enriquez came in, only lasted an inning, and gave up a hit as well. Then Kyle hurt, and now it looks like it's going to be Jonathan Hernandez get the ball next for the Dodgers. So another Hernandez comes in and contributes, hopefully in a positive way for the Dodgers. In addition to him, the Dodgers have Kike Hernandez playing first base and Teoscar Hernandez sitting on the bench currently. And he's going to face Tyrone Taylor. Is this what it feels like to be the fan of a bad team? It's kind of sad. Looking for positive nuggets and tidbits. I don't expect it to last, but it's not fun when it does. And it actually makes the success that you have that much more enjoyable when you struggle. When your team struggles, when you struggle. And this one is fly to left for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the batter of the day by far, Pete Crow Armstrong. First pitch on the way from Hernandez to Crow Armstrong is popped up high and shallow. And Max Muncy makes the play for the third out of the inning. Pete Crow Armstrong almost broke his bat over his knee and then thought second at that. And at the end of 7, it's the Dodgers 1 and the Cubs 7. So, new pitcher comes in for the Cubs with a 6-run lead. Something he's got to enjoy. He's going to face Tommy Edman. The pitcher is Caleb Thielbar. Pitched in 39 games with a record of 3-2 and an ERA just below 4. Edman has 1 hit today. And his average just below 300 at 294. And that one misses. And that one misses as well. And the early count to Tommy Edman is 2-0. Dodgers down to their final 6 outs just like that. That one was a strike. 2-1. That one right in there. That evens the count, 2-2. Tommy Edman, the switch hitter, predictably batting right against the left-handed pitcher, so can see the ball just a fraction of a second sooner. Fouls that one off, and the count stays 2-2. And that misses, makes the count full, 3-2. Could it be the start of a rally? Only time will tell. That one foul just left of third base. That one fly to left, and not going to be much trouble there. Catch made for the first out of the inning. So that brings up Kyle Tucker, who is hitless today. He's popped out multiple times. And the only person responsible for the Dodgers scoring yesterday with a solo home run. Today that honor goes to Shohei Ohtani. And that one's in there for a strike. Tucker only batting .241 on the season. Fortunately, looks more comfortable and confident recently. That one misses inside for a ball. Last night, the catcher was throwing back to the pitcher and accidentally threw it into the head of Kyle Tucker. Hopefully, pretty sure, not much damage there. Shook it off quickly and went back to work. That one misses outside. Counts 2-2. And that one laced into center field over the outstretched arm of the shortstop. And Kyle Tucker has his first hit of the day, and he's 1 for 4. Now Mookie Betts, who's 3 for 3 today. It's a great thing to see. And none of them flukes. You know, sometimes you just get lucky and don't make great contact, but All of them were really good contact today for Mookie. Swings at the first pitch and lines it down the left field side. So Mookie Betts with another base hit, and he's 4 for 4 today. Well, that was something positive to not just enjoy for today, but hopefully build on in the coming games. And now the Dodgers have runners at first and second with 1 out. 7-hitter, Max Muncy coming up. Max is hitless today. Struck out the first 2 times and then lined out to right field last time up. Max batting .251 this season. And that's a swing and a miss. Counts 1-1. And this one is driven probably out of reach. This one's going to right field, and it is well gone. A home run for Max Muncy. 106 miles an hour, and it is good for 3 runs on the scoreboard. So the Dodgers not quite done yet. He hit that about 10 rows up. All of it. All of the air necessary. And the Dodgers now have 5 outs still to work with to close this gap of 3 runs. Much more doable than 6. Huge 3-run home run from Max Muncy. That's going to bring up Miguel Rojas, who got the start today at second base and does have a hit. That's a single today. 3 home runs on the season. A few chairs in the stands at Wrigley Field saying, "Let's go Dodgers." Who knows? Maybe it could be a little bit of momentum after that 3-run home run by Max Muncy. And this one is stroked into left center by Miguel Rojas. Ooh, big turn at first. Hey there, Miggy. And now a pinch hitter who did not start today, but he's batted well recently, Teoscar Hernandez. And the other night, in the 6th inning, Teoscar Hernandez hit it out of the stadium, cleared the stands in left field. And if he did that now, that would completely change the outlook of this game. Don't have to hit it out of the stadium for me. Just bring home a run. But if it's 2, because it leaves the yard, even better. Only 1 out, and a runner at first, and the Cubs are going to make a pitching change to face Teo. And it looks like Ryan Zeferjohn's going to come in, freshly acquired from the Angels. He's got a 3.59 ERA. And he's only given up 5 home runs, it looks like, according to the command center. Wonder if that shifted the odds a little bit at DraftKings. Excuse me. 75 strikeouts on the year with 32 walks. So, not a great ratio. So Teoscar Hernandez getting ready to face Zephyr. What is the biggest moment of this game so far? After the 3-run home run by Max Muncy. Runner at first with only 1 out. And swings late and chases a ball outside, which is one of the things he has done very poorly and a little too regularly lately. Shohei Ohtani on deck. Fouled off. And Teo in an early hole, 0-2. And the pitch that is really Teoscar Hernandez's, I don't know if I'd call it an Achilles heel. He's not invincible, but really his weakness. Against a right-handed pitcher, seeing a curveball that starts kind of inside to middle and then trails outside to a place where Teo can't reach it. So he strikes out, and now there's 2 away with Shohei Ohtani coming up. Looks at the first pitch outside for ball 1. Ohtani's 2 for 4 today and had that leadoff home run his first at bat. That one's a strike. Counts 1-1. Ohtani batting .295. And this one is struck pretty hard. The left field, it's carrying, and it's over the fence for a 2-run home run. Shohei Ohtani. Konnichiwa. So Pete Crow Armstrong with 2 home runs and Shohei Ohtani with 2 home runs. Back and forth, and a 5-run inning for the Dodgers, who are right back in this. Right back in this. A 1-run ball game, a huge 2-out home run, and now Alex Call comes in, who's been subbed into center field for Andy Pages. Speedy Call, if he got on base, that would really help the Dodgers. And that pitch hits Alex Call. And he almost sprints to first base in joy. And the nightmare for the Cubs is continuing, although they still have a 1-run lead. And now one of the Dodgers' most clutch players, Kike Hernandez, is coming to the plate. Kike is 0 for 1 today. Got subbed in late for Freddie Freeman at first base. Flied out his first at bat. So the tying run now, all of a sudden at first. And a huge inning. The go-ahead run at the plate. I mean, obviously, if you had your choice, you'd have Freddie Freeman up there instead of Kike. But Kike is no slouch, especially in clutch, pinch-hitting situations. Even though technically this is not a pinch-hitting situation. It's the second at bat after being subbed in late. And I hear more chants, louder chants of "Let's go Dodgers" in the Cubs stadium. And Kike fouls that one off, and the count's 1-1. So what was a really sad recession towards the end of this game suddenly is competitive. A 5-run explosion for the Dodgers. And fans rooting for both teams standing up in their seats. And a huge moment in this game. As that pitch is outside and low and it gets past the catcher. And now Alex Call is able, because of that, to go to second base. And now the tying run is in scoring position for Kike Hernandez. Zephyr Jean getting ready to deliver. And a nice pitch, slightly high and inside, jams up Kike Hernandez, who swings and misses for strike 3. So not able to do something with Alex Call on second base. But a huge inning for the Dodgers, scoring 5 runs in the top of the 8th. And now the lead for the Cubs is only 1, going to the bottom of the 8th. Dodgers 6, Cubs 7. So the Dodgers bring in Evan Phillips with a 5.19 ERA. And threatening, but also hoping to keep this game at a one-run deficit. And he's going to face Suzuki, who's 1 for 4 today. First pitch on the way and misses low for ball 1. That one just misses for ball 2. And now it's starting to rain at Wrigley Field. Some people are going for their jackets, pulling on slickers, and some going inside to try to protect themselves. And you can also see the flags blowing pretty briskly. I don't know if a storm's moving in or not. I'm good with it if the storm is the Dodgers coming back. This one is fouled close to first base. And then, as you can see, Kike Hernandez, who subbed for Freddie Freeman, started to go almost to the wall and then came back into fair territory because the wind, I think, blew that ball that was popped really high back towards the field. So that's a little bit of an indicator for you. And 1 away in the bottom of the 8th. Leading to the 3-hitter Bregman coming up, who's 1 for 4 today. And the first pitch catches the strike zone high and inside. Next pitch, outside for a ball, counts 1-1. And this one is popped high, but also a little shallow in right center. And Tommy Edman comes in and makes the catch, having subbed in for Andy Pages. And now 2 away, Carson Kelly on the way to the box. Carson Kelly's 2 for 4 today. 2 singles. 7 home runs on the season. And the first pitch is in there for a strike as Kelly fouls it back. And the count's 0-1. Pitch on the way from Phillips, and that one struck cleanly into shallow left center. And Tommy Edman books it to the ball, picks it up, and throws it into second quickly to keep the damage to a single. So Michael Busch set to come up, who's 2 for 4 today. The Dodgers are going to make pitching change to get the right matchup against him. And it looks like they're going to go to Jack Dreyer. Let's check the command center. See what pops up. It is going to be Jack Dreyer. Dreyer with a 2.96 ERA and a whip just below 1. No slam dancing here amongst the Dodgers. Perhaps feeling a little bit of the pressure. And Dryer on the way. By the way, if you're wondering, Dalton Rushing has a UCL tear. All you need to know is that's a ligament. He will not be able to play defense anymore this year for the Dodgers. They are hopeful that he'll be able to rejoin them later. He's not on this trip. After getting some rehab work and maybe pinch hit for them. Right now, he's done as a defensive player behind the plate. Jack Dryer's pitched in 46 games this year. He has 53 strikeouts to only 13 walks. Dodgers bring him in to try to get at least one out right here. Dodgers only have 3 outs left. So much more attainable after that explosive last inning. And Dryer's trying to keep it that way. And the first pitch to Bush is in there for a strike. And competing cheers at Wrigley Field. Some fans saying, let's go Cubs. A decent contingency of LA fans saying, let's go Dodgers. Bush swings and misses at that one. The count's 0-2. And this one popped up along the third base side, and Max Muncy is going to be under it and make the catch for the third out of the inning. And so we go to the top of the ninth. Dodgers have 3 outs left to work with to finally pull even and hopefully pull this game out. So Jacob Webb in for Chicago with a 2.54 ERA. It's given up 6 home runs. And definitely be nice to get one here. Three-run home run is what really got the Dodgers going last inning by Max Muncy. And then another 2 runs off of Shohei Ohtani's home run. who thought it was a double at first and stopped at second base. And then somebody had to say, no, bro, you hit a home run. And he was like, oh, okay. So Tommy Edman comes up. Tommy's 1 for 4 today. And flips sides so that he can see the ball better. And that's, of course, the advantage of being a switch hitter. And that one was called a strike. Tommy Edman touches his head and challenges. And he's correct. So the Dodgers are successful in the challenge, overturn the call, and it's 2-0 now to Tommy Edman. And they still have one challenge in their back pocket. This one is grounded to first and flipped to the pitcher for the out. So Tommy grounds out, and the Dodgers are down to their last 2 outs. And now Kyle Tucker comes up to the loudest boos of the day, probably because the fans know what's at stake. And they remember that the former Cub hit a home run against his team yesterday. It was the only run that scored for the Dodgers. So Tucker's 1 for 4 today, and he's batting .243 as he swings and misses at that one. And that one misses low to even the count 1-1. And the pitch is an accidental check swing, just enough momentum to roll to the shortstop, who picks it up with his bare hand and throws Kyle Tucker out. So now 2 away. And the last person between the Cubs and a sweep of the Dodgers is Mookie Betts, who has 4 hits in 4 at-bats today. So I guess if it is to be, it is up to me. And the me is Mookie Betts. First pitch from Webb. In there for a strike, 0-1. If you're wondering, Mookie has had a few 5-hit games in his career. As that pitch misses outside for a ball. Max Muncy lurking on deck, who just hit that 3-run home run to breathe new life into the Dodgers. Jacob Webb gets set and delivers, and that's also outside. Now the count's 3-1. Mookie 1 pitch away from being on base. And that one's driven to left center, but both, oh my gosh, these guys, I was talking about this before, both outfielders converge, and they could have each made that catch because they're both so fast. And the best defense in baseball has their say over closing this game out, and a close call against the Dodgers, but nonetheless, a win for the Cubs and the second straight series where the Dodgers get swept. And so, unfortunately now, the Dodgers firmly in the midst of their worst losing streak of the season. And get a day off to think about it and hopefully shake whatever blues they have off and get back to work on Friday. But as you can see here with our post-game command center, The Dodgers with 6 runs on 14 hits, and the Cubs 7 runs on 15 hits. So it was definitely a hit parade for both teams. But once again, the Dodgers fall short and struggle with their starting pitching. Today, it just happened to be Eric Lauer's turn. But exciting nonetheless, especially after the doldrums of the middle part of this game when you figured it was just going to be another listless loss for the Dodgers. However, it is a loss, and losses still suck. But appreciate everybody that came into the chat today and all the participation and the views. And so since the Dodgers get tomorrow off, so does LA Press Box. But we'll be back here on Friday, guys, and have the best possible work day if you're at work going forward for today.